On the 14th of August, 2025, the southern coast of China held its breath as a towering wall of swirling clouds loomed ever closer. Typhoon Podul, packing winds of up to 191 km per hour, 118 miles per hour, had just torn through southern Taiwan, ripping the roofs off thousands of homes, toppling trees, and forcing more than 500 people to evacuate. Now, after crossing the narrow strait, this tropical monster was bearing down on Fujian province. From Xiamen to Fuqing, the sky turned an ominous black, and the wind howled in bursts, as if tearing the very air apart. Waves more than 8 meters high pounded relentlessly against seawalls, exploding into plumes of white spray. Emergency evacuation orders went out to tens of thousands of coastal residents. Fishing boats rushed back to harbor, ferry services were suspended, and hundreds of flights were canceled. Coastal streets were eerily empty, save for military trucks and rescue crews racing through the gusts. With the storm's eye less than 100 kilometers offshore, gusts reaching the equivalent of Category 4 on the Beaufort scale ripped through the region, sending sand, rocks, and debris hurtling down streets, scratching concrete walls. In fishing villages, loudspeakers blared urgent evacuation messages. 250,000 people were ordered to leave their homes, carrying only essentials identification papers, food, and water to find safety. Normally bustling Xiamen was reduced to the sound of roaring wind and pounding rain. Low-lying streets quickly turned into rivers, with torrents sweeping away motorbikes, trash bins, and street signs. Forecasters warned that 400-500 millimeter, 15-20 inches of rain could fall in just 24 hours, enough to submerge entire coastal cities overnight. In Guangzhou, hours of relentless rain overwhelmed drainage systems. Apartment basements flooded, leaving hundreds of cars underwater. Rescue teams used inflatable boats and life vests to ferry residents to safety. In rural and suburban areas, rice fields heavy with grain were flattened by the wind and left completely waterlogged. Dozens of fish and shrimp ponds burst their banks, sending thousands of tons of seafood washing out to sea in a single night, wiping out the livelihoods of entire fishing communities. Fujian's power authority reported that hundreds of substations were damaged by flooding or seawater intrusion, leaving more than 300,000 households without electricity. Many hospitals switched to backup generators, prioritizing emergency rooms and operating theaters. Preliminary estimates put the economic losses in the first 24 hours alone at tens of billions of yuan, though the real figure will likely be higher once isolated areas are reached. Podul left behind not only visible physical scars, but also a deep psychological impact, a haunting reminder of a storm that brought together violent winds, extreme rainfall, and powerful storm surges, enough to test even the strongest infrastructure. At evacuation centers, hundreds of volunteers and rescue personnel prepared rubber boats, high-capacity water pumps, medical supplies, and food. Coastal hospitals stocked up on blood and operated round the clock. Images of rooftops trembling in the wind, power poles leaning precariously, and the sea swallowing whole stretches of shoreline shocked viewers across the country. Podul was more than just a typhoon. It was a wake-up call about the rising frequency and intensity of extreme weather events. In just 2 years, from Doksuri to Saola to Podul, southern and eastern China have been hit repeatedly by powerful storms unlike anything seen before. Each storm not only sweeps away homes and infrastructure, but also robs millions of people of their peace of mind, leaving emotional scars that may never fade. Through the blinding sheets of rain, one question hangs in the air. Has this nation of over 1 billion people truly prepared itself for the growing wrath of nature? Or will each typhoon season bring yet another battle in which victory is never guaranteed? Podul has passed, but the wounds it carved into Fujian will linger, collapsed homes, ruined fields, and the haunted eyes of those who have lost everything. This isn't just the story of one storm. It's a stark reminder that in an era of climate change, disasters will strike harder and more often, and each of us is part of the fight to withstand nature's most unforgiving force. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to help us continue delivering important, timely updates on extreme weather events. See you in the next video.